game having healed his aches and pains already. He stopped in the inn for a moment, and when no one needed anything, he headed over to the leather worker shop. While he was waiting for the raid to start, he'd commissioned a number of leather armor parts, enough to fill out his armor slots. He'd specified that they be of a quality to accept metal studs, so he'd have pieces that matched the tunic, helm, and boots that he intended to keep. Once he picked them up, he'd need to take them to the smithy to get the studs added in. Delgar was also busier than normal the last few days. When the incoming adventurers had found a player smith in the area, one who had a moderate smithing skill, he'd been inundated with requests as well. Evidently, player smiths tended to produce slightly higher quality items than NPCs, and most of the player smiths that were any good had gotten snapped up by the existing guilds. Delgar's apprentice was likely to be the one to add Eddie's studs in, but since the apprentice had just recently got his own smithing to 5, Eddie was willing to let the young NPC smith do the stud work for his armor. After all, the NPCs also have a better chance of advancing their skill when doing new types of work, and as far as I know, our smiths haven't done anything with studded leather yet. Fortunately, Delgar looked up the process and taught it to his apprentice when I asked. Otherwise, this stuff wouldn't be done before the raid. As it stands, I can probably get it back tomorrow, all finished, Eddie thought. When he picked up his armor, he did a quick evaluate on it. Seeing that it was of uncommon quality, Eddie insisted on paying the full price for it, even when the leatherworker tried to give him a discount for being the mayor. He whistled for Lucky as he started east on the road. She'd been out back, fishing in the pond, and he wanted her with him. With as many other adventurers as were in the area, he worried for her. He didn't think another player could attack her since she was flagged as his pet, but he didn't want to find out he was wrong the hard way. He'd started introducing her to most of the new players he met, but even so, there were probably only half of the newcomers that had met her so far. At least one of them, after asking where Eddie had found Lucky, spent the next day in the foothills to the north. Eddie assumed he was trying to find a bobcat of his own for a pet, but wasn't sure and was unwilling to ask. He didn't think the man would have any luck with it, but wasn't positive about that. He was pretty sure it was only the combination of Freya's blessing and the situation that he'd found Lucky in that had gotten her as a pet for him. When he arrived at the smithy, he had to keep himself from chuckling. He knew that Delgar preferred to work in solitude, with only his apprentice for company, but currently there were 4 adventurers lounging in the clearing around the smithy. He walked to the door of the smithy and knocked. "Hey, dude, wait in line like the rest of us," one of the adventurers called out. As Eddie turned to look at him, one of the adventurer's companions grabbed his arm.
"That's the mayor. He owns the smithy from what I was told."
"Oh, sorry. We've had some people trying to cut in line," the first adventurer said. "Don't worry about it," Eddie replied. "I'm not stealing Delgar's time. Well, not right now. I need to talk to the apprentice." "Oh, well, sorry again. It's just that the smith is really touchy. Who'd have thought a player would nail the classic dwarf grumpiness that well?" Eddie laughed. "He didn't nail that. As far as I know, that's how he really is," Eddie said, then turned and entered the smithy. The building was hot, the forge glowing even in the sunlight that streamed in through the open windows. Delgar didn't even look up at the interruption. "I told you, I'll let you know when I'm available," he said. Eddie cleared his throat and Delgar looked up. "Oh, Eddie, sorry. All these adventurers," Delgar said, shaking his head. "They all want something and want it done just so. Speaking of which, I finally got the etching done on the Justicier's axe if you want to take that with you when you leave. What did you need?" "Your apprentice to do those studs. He available?" "On and off. He needs to help me with some things, but he'll probably still be able to have it done for you tomorrow or the day after." "Good, that works. Where do you want me to put the armor?" "The shelf over there. The axe is on it right now, so just take that and put the armor where the axe is," he said, then turned. "Hey, Kerr, you ready for some work of your own?" The apprentice popped up with a grin on his face. "Yes, sir, Smith. Is this the armor you taught me about?" Delgar nodded, then pointed to the shelf where Eddie was placing the armor. "When you're not assisting me, you need to stud that up the way I showed you, okay?" "Yes, sir," Kerr said, walking over to the shelf. The apprentice eyed Eddie for a second. "Yes," Eddie said. "Just trying to see the spacing on the stud you have on your armor so I can match it. I know how to put them in now, but no one said anything about spacing, so I'll just try to copy what you've already got." "Would you like to leave a piece of my existing armor with you for that?" Eddie said. Kerr shook his head. "No, sir, I've got it now. Just had to see what the spacing was on what you already had. I should be good now." "Well, in that